Yes, Ramini. I have a contradiction. Now, we said in the Mishnah that a Ger Toshav goes to Golut when he kills another Ger Toshav. That's what the Mishnah stated. And on that point, that he goes to Golut, and that was we said, it was a big chidush, that we said that a goy had, because he's technically a goy, to get Toshav. Except he accepted upon himself the 7 mitzvahs in Noach, and we said the big chidush that he does, because the pasuk says v'hoya lachem lemiklat, lachem it says levnei Yisrael v'lager l'toshav b'tocham. We have a pasuk that tells us, the Torah tells us that a ger toshav has ari miklat. So that's how the Mishnah knows that a ger toshav has ari miklat. But the Mishnah was very specific and says that the ger toshav has ari miklat specifically when he kills another ger toshav. Good morning, Aaron. I suppose to meet that. Right, he doesn't get mitah. Right, like any other guy, it would seem like if you kill another guy, he should get mitah, even if it was unintentionally. But if he killed a ger toshav, the Mishnah says that he goes to Golut. Right now, really, we have a pasuk. We have a pasuk, and really, it's an interesting question. The Gemara is going to ask on the Mishnah, and yet there's a pasuk in the Torah that says that he goes to Golut. So what? How would if you're going to ask a question, then you have to figure out how would we explain the pasuk. How would we explain what the pasuk is talking about? Because let's see what the Mishnah's question is. We have a pasuk that says Livnei Yisrael. The Gemara brought a pasuk in the Livnei Yisrael. V'lager says Livnei Yisrael, the Jewish community. V'lager l'toshav b'tocham, and the ger toshav. Tihiyena sheish ha'arim he'ilel miklat. We have a pasuk that says that that these are 6 cities that were designated as Arim Miklat will be cities of refuge. Lanushama, to run there. Kol maken nefesh b'shgaga. Anyone who killed someone b'shgaga. So we have a pasuk on record that said that he goes to Golut. Now the question is, what is the case of that pasuk? That the ger toshav goes to Arim Miklat. Maybe the Gemara's question is, there's a different case. The Gemara's question is, the Mishnah makes a statement. The Mishnah makes a statement that the case of Arim Miklat for ger toshav is when he kills another ger toshav. Now there are many possibilities: ger toshav killing a ger toshav killing Yisrael, ger toshav killing a guy. And the Mishnah stated that the case of ger toshav going to Golut if he kills another ger toshav. Right? What's the Mishnah stated? The Mishnah stated a ger toshav goes to miklat if he kills another ger toshav. Correct? Is that what the Mishnah stated on Chet Amud Beis? Yeah. And now the Gemara is going to have a question that the Breita seems to disagree with the Mishnah, and the Gemara is going to say, how are we going to explain this? Next, the Breita, which seems to be arguing the Mishnah, and we rather not say that the Breita argues in the Mishnah unless we have reason to say it's another Tana, and because the Breita is usually explaining the Mishnah, and usually it's in accordance with the Mishnah. Yes. But the question, for interpretation, what is the case of the Torah? The Torah says a ger toshav goes to Golut. What is that case? So maybe that's what's behind the Gemara's question in a certain sense, is that what do you say? Bishogeg. The case that he's going to go to Golut, it was Bishogeg. It made, they made,
That's why the Mishnah
I'm saying the Mishnah makes a lot of sense. We have a posuk. A ger toshav killed someone b'shogeg, he goes to Golut. Now the Mishnah also stated if he kills a Jew, the way because there's chutz b'ger toshav. The Mishnah also says that chutz b'ger toshav. There's a scenario that ger toshav wouldn't go to Golut by killing someone b'shogeg, right? Killing who? Exactly. So we said killing a Jew. For killing a Jew, he gets killed. Right? That's what we said before. So now let's see what the Gemara's contradiction is going to be. Then we have to figure out how would they understand the pasuk. So what's the contradiction? Uramini. We have a contradiction. Yaron, you have the place? Uramini. It's about the fika. Gev ovik lechavim. Gev ovik cham shehagu ne'aragim. It says over there that a ger and a ger toshav and a non-Jew, if they kill, and this is talking about b'shogeg, Rashi fits in the blank, they killed, meaning even though it was b'shogeg, they get killed. Now, let's identify the case, meaning they don't need to be warned. A Jew needs warning. A Gentile doesn't need to be warned before he does, in order for him to get killed, he doesn't need a warning. You don't have to tell him, you know what? If you do this, you're going to get killed. Because the prohibition that they are given, that's their warning. Meaning, a Jew is given the Torah. But even though the Torah is given to the Jew, they still, the fact that the Torah says don't murder is not enough to kill a Jew for murder. A Jew has to be warned in addition to the fact that the Torah was given to the Jewish community, they have to still be warned. If they're not warned, they don't get killed. A Gentile, they were given 7 mitzvot, and in order for them to get killed for violating their mitzvot, they do not need to be warned. They were given 7 mitzvot, you don't have to warn the guy beforehand. The fact that you don't have to warn the guy. Morning, Yosef Tzaddik.
Boker Tov.
Boker Tov. The fact that you don't have to warn the Gentile means even if he did it without knowing, b'shogeg, he would be chayav. So now we've established that a goy would be chayav b'shogeg. He'd be chayav mitah. A ger toshav also would be chayav mitah for shogeg. That's what we are. That's what the Braita tells us. But now the question is, what's the case that the ger toshav is chayav mitah for shogeg? Okay. So now, ger toshav. Yes. In my Gemara, I have like an aleph, which is, and in that aleph, they say you have to say ger toshav. Okay. They killed b'shogeg unintentionally, they get killed. Now the Gemara tries to identify what's the case. They group together the ger together with the guy. A guy, when he kills, even b'shogeg, he gets killed. Loshna the katal bar minei. There's no difference whether he kills another Gentile. Bar minei means a son of his kind. Veloshna the katal la bar minei. There's no difference if he kills someone who's not his kind. Who is that? A Jew. A Jew is not the kind, it's not the min, it's not the same type of the Gentile. There's no difference between killing a Jew and killing a Gentile. He goes to Golut, he gets killed, the guy gets killed for killing either a Jew or a Gentile. Meaning to say, whether it's his min, his type, or not his type. So Avger. So if we group together a ger, Loshna, the katal barmine. It there's no difference if he kills another ger toshav. V'loshna katal b'lav barmine. If he kills someone who's not a ger toshav, namely a Jew, there's no difference. Neherag, he gets killed. So the Breita seems to indicate that there is death for a ger toshav killing another ger toshav. Not that he goes to Golut, because the Breita, by grouping it together with Ovid Kachavim, would indicate just like a Gentile when he gets killed, if he kills his type, his min, would indicate that the ger toshav is also told if he kills his type, even another ger toshav, he gets killed. And the Mishnah says he doesn't get killed. So that's the Gemara's question. The only question I have on this, I'm bringing up to everybody, is how would we understand the pasuk? If the Gemara is understanding the Breita, that the Breita indicating a ger toshav kills another ger toshav, he gets killed. And if he kills a Yisrael, he gets killed. So would maybe the case of the Torah that he gets galut, maybe would be if he kills a Gentile. What would be the logic behind it, perhaps? That maybe a person who keeps the whole Torah mitzvah, a Jew, if he kills it's not enough to go to galut. He has to get killed. Killed a Jew. He killed someone who was obligated 613 mitzvot. And maybe if he kills another ger toshav, he also kills someone, not a Jew, but someone who was in a higher level. So maybe he has to get killed for that. But if he killed an ordinary guy, maybe that will be the case of the Torah, when the Torah says he goes to Golan. We have to think about it. What was the Gemara thinking? I'm just trying to address what was the Gemara thinking. How would the Breita explain the pasuk? You hear what I'm saying? He's one step up, right? One second. Say that again. Yes, there's two psukim. There's one pasuk that says that a Jew goes to exile and not a ger toshav. There's one pasuk that says a ger toshav goes to exile. Well,
is going to be city for the Jew, for the ger, and for the ger toshav. So these two people, they're going to have a place if they kill someone did.
Mishogei.
And the next pasuk is
specifically for a Jew.
Exclude the ger toshav.
Right. So the Gemara said. So the Gemara addressed that earlier. I think the Gemara said that the pasuk that says the ger toshav goes to Golud, that's when he kills another ger toshav. That's when the ger toshav goes to Golud. But when does the ger toshav not be able to go to Golud? It's lechem for the Jews and not for the ger toshav. If he killed a Jew, that's right, everyone. We said it's talking about each pasuk is talking about a different case. And I'm suggesting that the Gemara is thinking here, Mr. Safi the Chidush. What's the Gemara thinking about the pasuk? If the Gemara is saying that the ger toshav gets killed for killing another ger toshav, the ger toshav gets killed for killing Israel. So what's the pasuk? There's a pasuk that says he goes to Galut. Answer is he kills a guy. That's the Gemara thinking at this point. If he kills a guy, it's a different level. There's three levels: Israel, ger toshav, and guy. The ger toshav is a guy, but it's a different level guy. He accepts Noah. It's a higher level individual. You know, the Rambam says that a chasidei umota alam, a pious gentle, has a chelek in lumap. That means, and the Rambam, someone who accepts upon himself, who follows the 7 mitzvahs b'noach because Hashem commanded.
So
And he gets, he doesn't get the portion of haba that a Jew gets. A Jew, 613 mitzvot, he has so many more responsibilities. The bigger your job, the bigger your responsibility, the bigger the reward. But the Gentile who accepts upon, who does the 7 mitzvahs Noah, because Hashem commanded him, the righteous, the chassid, the pious, here's a chelik on haba.
so for sure, he has always- that's why the mission, right?
He hakapara, right? Yes. Right. The people of Nineveh, they did tshuva. But Yonah, and what happened? They got forgiven. So the Gemara says, you don't understand what? You have to accept, you accept 7 mitzvah no, correct.
So if they in the
Right.
where the Mishnah learn everything and we
Right.
so it must be that they all get to Shavuot.
No, you can have a visitor going to the land of Israel. I don't think, if a guy visits the land of Israel, a guy, he has to, come and do some work in the land of Israel. He's allowed to come into the country. You know what I'm saying? It's possible to kill a guy in Israel. Or Ever HaYarden. You know what I'm saying? Let's say, or Ever HaYarden also. Ever HaYarden is the other side of the Jordan. It's not, yeah, I presume that, we have to look up the halachot of Ger Toshav. Is it specifically, in Israel proper, on the other side of the Jordan, what we call Israel today. I don't know if it applies to the other side, the Bnei Gad, the Bnei Ruvain, the other side of the Jordan, where they, before they crossed over. I don't know if it applies to those areas, even though they, there's 3 cities over there of refuge, right? Okay, so that's the Gemara's contradiction. Again, the Gemara's morning, Dr. David. The Gemara's contradiction is the Mishnah states the Ger Toshav, because another Ger Toshav, he goes to exile. Galut, and the Braita seems to infer. It's not such the strength of the question is not as strong as an open contradiction, but the inference, the diuk of the Braita by grouping Ger Toshav together with Akum would seem to indicate if he killed someone of his same kind, another Ger Toshav, he won't get killed, not Galut. That's the Gemara's question. The Gemara answers, Amar Rav Chisda lo kasha. It all depends in the case. How did he kill the guy? Kan shehogu derech yirida. Kan shehogu derech aliyah. One case he killed him derech yirida is on the way down. Good morning, Mr. Batesh. The coffee is waiting for you. One case is he went ahead and he killed the person derech yirida. And you even get service, Mr. Batesh. You see that? He's looking for a beautiful bracha, Mr. Batesh. That's what he's looking for. So the Gemara says, one case he killed on the way down, and one case he killed on the way up. As you recall, a little chazara, a little review. We had in the Gemara, we opened up the perek. This perek opened up by stating that when a person kills someone unintentionally, the Torah was particular about how the accident, the unintentional act happened. As the Mishnah gives an example, were you going down the ladder, going up the ladder? And the Mishnah stated that the pasuk ended with nafal, you fell on the guy, or something fell, or the accident happened on the way down, not on the way up. And the way we explain the Rambam's opinion is that something on the way down is something that you have more, something on the way down is you have to be, because it's just more responsible, because the gravity is pulling you down, you have to be extra careful. And therefore, because you have to be extra careful, and if you weren't extra careful, that's why you fell, you are chayav. But not right now, it's not intentional. Nobody wants to fall off a ladder, but you know that you go down steps. you're walking down steps. You go faster than going up. Since it goes faster than going up, it's more common accidents. And it's more common accidents, you have to be on top of your game. Going up, being that you're not being pulled down so much. So, one second. So therefore, it's not expected that you're going to fall off the ladder going up the ladder. It's more of a thing that you need to be more careful going down the ladder. Yes.
Going up is going forward, going backwards down the ladder.
Explain what you're saying. When you're going down the ladder?
When you're walking upstairs,
Right.
you're going forward, you don't walk downstairs backwards, and then the ladder you're going down backwards, so it's more risk.
Okay, but it seems okay. So it seems that someone going to explain. Is it more of a? Do we look at going up the ladder? If a guy was it more negligence going up? If a guy falls off the ladder going up, would we consider that more of a negligence, or we consider that more of an accident? So for our purposes, for this until now, we've been understanding that if a guy falls off the ladder going up the ladder, it's more of an accident, something that it wasn't. We don't look at that he was negligent, but going down the ladder, we say he should have been a bit more on top of his game. So that's what the Mishnah stated earlier. So now, if the Ger Toshav kills another Ger Toshav, okay, but how did he kill him? If he killed him doing something on the way down, let's say going down the ladder, or let's say when you have a pail, a bucket in your hand, and you're lowering the pail down, you know that the gravity is pulling it down. You have to be careful not to drop it. And you dropped it on somebody, so we consider that a certain level of negligence. You should have been more careful. But if you're pulling something up, let's say like the Mishnah says that statement, if you're pulling a tool up, you're pushing a tool down. When you're pushing a tool down, you know it might go faster out of your hand. You have to be more careful than when you're pulling the tool up towards you. Right. So now the Gemara says the following to answer Yaron's question. When the Gemara says, Derech Yerida, if it's on the way down, the Yisrael Gali, a Jew, if he kills someone and the accident happened on the way down, the Jew goes to exile. Correct? That's the case we said, walking down a ladder and he falls off the ladder, lowering a barrel and a barrel falls, moving a tool down on the downward motion, Yechayav. So then, so the Jew who goes to exile for killing another Jew on the way down, he also, the Gentile, the Ger Toshav, this killed another Ger Toshav on the way down, will say he goes to Golot. He will also have the same punishment of the Jew, go to exile. But Derech Aliyah, but going up, but if he killed going up, he was pulling the tool going up. In that case, the Yisrael Patur, the Jew is Patur if he kills on the way up. He's going up the ladder and he falls. He was on the upward motion, or he's pulling something up and it falls. He is Patur. So who Patur? But who Patur? Who Nera? In such a case, where the Jew will be Patur on the way up, the Ger Toshav will be what? Killed. And the Gemara is going to shoot back. The logic says the opposite. Right. If the Jew is Patur, because we look at it as an accident, so the Ger Toshav should also be exempt. If you're telling me that going down is more of a negligence than going up, and going down, we say it's enough for him to go to exile, how could you tell me that when he does less of a sin, meaning going up is less of a sin than going down? Because going up, you were not negligent. There was no negligence. Going down, there was a little small negligence. So by having a small level of negligence, he goes to exile. So when you have no negligence, you certainly don't get killed. You hear the question, Mr. Bitesh?
Even if someone's going up and it's less negligent, they can be carrying a tool, and if that tool's not properly hooked onto it and it falls, then it's negligent.
Right. So you have to say we're talking about that. That's not the case. That there was some other factor that shows you that he was wearing 300 pounds of tools, and his body couldn't. He should have been more careful. Don't carry 300 pounds of the tools going up a ladder. Right. You're right, Mr. Bitesh. You have to be talking about there was no other negligence. It was just a question of going up the ladder, going down the pushing a tool down, and pushing a tool up.
The case of the non-exposure, we learned that before, we know it was very sad,
Right.
Whatever it is now, the power is the same case. In the two examples, the same case, one is get trouble in Israel. So the first case, one is going down, is very negligent at all.
Only a little bit of negligence.
And he kills someone.
He goes
and
to-
he did a bit of negligence and he was should take more precaution. By a year to shove, we do the same.
Right.
If you go up and
Which is not negligent at all.
but you go down and you kill a Jew.
Then it means he fell down. He goes up and he fell in the upward motion. Yes, but it was no negligence at all. So what should happen to him? So what should happen? No, he had to kill another ger toshav. Because we are the case of the Braita is when he killed his own kind. When the ger toshav kills another ger toshav, he gets killed, even though it was unintentional. What's the case?
No, I just want to say that
Morning, Dr. David.
we are more careful on when you do.
But now we're back to the contradiction between a ger toshav. Yeah, but we're talking about a ger toshav killing another ger toshav. The Mishnah says he goes to exile. The inference of the Braita is he gets killed because it grouped him together with the akum, with the non-Jew who kills his type. What's his type? Another Gentile gets killed. The ger toshav who kills his type. Who's his type? Another ger toshav gets killed. And he wants to say, this rabbi wants to say, Rav Chizda wants to say, we're going to give him the punishment of death when he's going in upward motion. We're going to give him exile when it's in the downward motion. So he shoots back. It should be the opposite. We should say, if you're going to give him exile in the downward when there was a level of negligence, so when there's no level of negligence, you can't kill him. That's going to be the question. Mr. Safdie, is that clear? Right. In the upward motion, that's the case. And he wants to say this rabbi at this point says he would get killed for that. And that's Rav Chizda's contribution. And Rava is going to say, hey, it can't be. It doesn't fit in with everything we've said until now. Amar Rava, v'lav kavachomehu, isn't it a kavachomer? Uma derech aliyah yerida. On the way down, where there's a level of negligence, the Yisrael Gali, the Jew goes to exile. Mr. Bitesh, we are on 9A. What number? 982? 982. We are in the left column. Bottom left. Amalei Rav v'lav kavachomer, isn't it kavachomer? Uma derech yerida. On the way down, where's the level of negligence? The Yisrael Gali, the Jew goes to exile if he kills on the way down. Ihu nami sagile b'galur. The ger toshav is also, it's enough for the ger toshav to go to exile. We don't say that if the Jew goes to exile for killing another Jew, the ger toshav kills another ger toshav, in that case gets killed. No, we say if we say it's enough to go to galur for the ger toshav. So the derech aliyah, going up, the Yisrael patur. If the Yisrael kills someone on the way up, the ger toshav should get killed. If it's less of a negligence, you can't give him a stronger punishment for doing less negligence. And from a previous case, Meaning you have two cases. On the way down, you're telling me where there's a level of negligence, you give him, he gets galut, exile. So on the way up, where there's no negligence, you should get killed. If you get a punishment of galut for a little bit of negligence, you can't get killed for no negligence, right? But I think, Mr. Batesh, there are those I saw in the Rishonim that one opinion says, so what was Rav Chisda thinking? Rav Chisda, who said going up would get killed. So he's thinking that going up is more negligent than going down. So he would understand, meaning to say like this. The Mishnah states, if a person a Jew kills another Jew going up the ladder, pulling a tool up, and he kills the other Jew, he does not go to exile. That's what the Mishnah states. The Mishnah says, because the Torah says, v'nafal, on the way down. But on the way up, they don't go to exile. If the murder happened, the unintentional murder happened when you were in the upward position, walking up the ladder, pulling something up. We always explain that with the Rambam's explanation. What was the Rambam's explanation? Meaning, the mission, how do you explain what's the difference between going up and going down? Meaning, we're saying that the law is different. What's the reason for the law? We've always been saying that the reason for the law is that there's more negligence going down than going up. And you should have been more careful going down than going up. Exactly. And therefore, because of that fact, gravity is pulling you down, you should have been more careful. And if the accident happened on the downward motion, we're going to send you to exile. But in the upward motion, we're going to hold it, we're going to look at it, you were not negligent, and therefore you don't need to go to go. You don't need that level of atonement, because you weren't negligent.
I understand. What's the difference between the shot, killing another shot, and Jew killing another Jew, and the shot gets
Right. So very good. So we're gonna address that in a moment. I just want to first this, and I want to get to your point. Rav Chisda maybe holds that when you go, the reason everybody agrees in the upward position you don't go to exile. Correct? That's a given. What's the reason? Is it because the upper position is an onus, more of an accident, or maybe the upper position is more of a negligence? Upward. We've always said until now, upward, the Rambam says, is more of an accident. And the reason why you don't go to exile is because it was ones. But it doesn't say that in the Mishnah. The Mishnah only says you don't go to exile. Moni Akiva. Rav Chisda maybe understands that going up is more negligent than going down. How do you like that? You heard that, everybody? A new chidush. Going up is more negligent than going down. An accident going up, you know, maybe the point is, you know, when you're going up, you know, maybe it's more common that people fall going up. You know, you're going up, you don't have as much, you know, you're going up something, you know, you're pulling something, and you're you know, maybe sometimes, in fact, gravity might pull you going down, but it's easier to do that. Maybe when you're going up, it's a harder effort, and you might not have as much control in a certain sense. So he looks at going up as more negligent. If an accident happened going up, we're going to look at it as, or maybe he would say if you have more control, so you should have controlled yourself more. However you want to understand it, going up. If you fall going up, we'll consider it more negligent. And therefore, if it's negligent, that's why you don't go to exile. There's two types of cases we found in the Gemara. The case to go to exile is the middle case. You weren't grossly negligent, but it wasn't a total accident. But if it's any of the extremes, that you were grossly negligent or it was an accident, total accident, you don't go to exile. Any of the two. So Rav Chisda understands going up, the reason why you don't go to exile is not because going up he considers it as an accident, that extreme. Rather, he considers going up more of a what? Of a grossly negligent. So therefore, that's how he can explain. That's why he says that if you're going up the Ger Toshav is going up and the murder happened, he will not go to exile. Why? Because it's more negligence. Mr. Safdie, you hear the point?
So he would get killed?
And, but by a Jew, we say, now that's Mr. Batesh's point. By a Jew, if the Jew kills another Jew in that upward position, according to Rav Chizda, we're going to look at it as negligence, and therefore you don't go to exile because exile is not enough of an atonement. You need more than exile. Doesn't fit the crime. You need a stronger punishment. But for the Ger Toshav that kills another Ger Toshav in such a fashion, he's going to get killed. He'll get killed for such a thing. He was grossly negligent. A Jew, for killing another Jew, being grossly negligent, he doesn't get killed for that. The Jew who kills another Jew,
going down,
he's
Rabbi?
going to get, God will punish him. But like we said yesterday, the Gentiles have 7 mitzvot. And they only got 7, and we got to be extra strong on the 7 that they get. Because if we're not going to be extra strong, then they're nothing. So you have to be, you're only giving them 7. So therefore it could explain why they can have a stronger punishment in some of their 7 than we were 613 in general. Right. We have more responsibility, but because they have less responsibility in mitzvahs, so perhaps in the mitzvahs that they are given, we're going to hold them to a higher level. That we're going to have to make sure that we're going to be stricter, perhaps, on the punishment for their 7 than we're going to give the Jew. You know what? You have so many other mitzvahs that you're doing. We're going to get, we'll cut them some slack in some certain sense. Yes.
Rabbi, why is it when they go down the ladder is not considered grossly negligent as far as Rabbi, why they get exiled?
Right, so going down the ladder, because it seems that when you're going down the ladder, there is a certain amount of negligence, but nobody, remember, nobody's looking to fall down. No one is looking to fall off the ladder. So I presume when a guy goes down the ladder and he falls, it's not something that's so expected. Most probably, it's not something that's so common. It's not so common that he'll fall down the ladder going down the ladder. It's not so common. So maybe it's not. Negligence must probably be looked at as something that's very common that will happen as a result of this type of act. But when you're going down the ladder in the normal fashion, usually people won't fall down. And now that maybe you weren't 100%, you could have done a little better, but it doesn't seem that you were really negligent, that we could say that you were really grossly negligent to say that you could, that exile wouldn't be enough.
It just doesn't sound strong.
Meaning, okay, the question is, the guy falls down the ladder. He's going. Think of the painter.
No, I'm saying, Rabbi, his position doesn't sound good because, first of all, it's going against Mishnah, and now we're going to have a double standard because we want to hold them more accountable for their 7 laws. If that's the case, then going down should also be no exile.
Again, if we look at it, it's a stronger negligence. So if it's a stronger negligence than going down, then again, the question is, where is more negligence? Going down the ladder? I understand.
He's saying going up. I get it.
He's saying going up the ladder is more negligence. Welcome back, Charles. He says going up the ladder is more negligence than going down the ladder, and therefore he says that we're going to be a more serious type of punishment for the Ger Toshav if he going up the ladder than going down. That's what he says.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom. You too.
Every situation is different. Someone can be going up the ladder with a
big backpack or something.
And sometimes when you go down a ladder, you tend to go down too fast because of force of gravity. And you can have an accident that way.
Right. So I think we're talking about the general normal type of situation that he doesn't have. There's no other thing that's adding to the charm, as they say. So you're with Rav Chisda. Okay. Oh, I say no. Say you know what the Rambam says like you. It's more dangerous to go down the ladder.
Rabbi, 727.
Yes. Thank you, Yosef. Sadiq.
Yosef.
Yes, you're saying different. You have to be extra careful.
How you doing, brother?
Shiva.
You have to come this summer and visit. Oh, we are all coming to your place.
Oh, that sounds
You're
better.
gonna-
We have the super kosher market opened yesterday.
Oh, really? Nice, nice. How close is it from you?
Hey, 2 minutes drive.
Yosef,
Amazing.
I have to step out. I wish you a good Shabbat. Whenever you have time, if you want to fix this.
Shabbat shalom, Rabbi.
All right. Good Shabbos, Yosef.
Thank you.
That says over here in the town, good Shabbos. Wherever you are, it's
Wow.
home.
Why are you breaking up? You have bad internet in your village?
Huh?
I said the internet is breaking up. The internet was breaking up.
Oh, it's probably because where you are
Yeah.
at.
No, you know where you are. Not from your village.
Okay.
All right, good Shabbos, brother. Good Shabbos.